I have to say I did my 50-page rule. If it doesn't grab me by 50 pages, I don't read it. And I did not like it at all.
Really?
Yes. And I also talked to Marianne Eichenberg, and she didn't like it. She kept waiting for a story to happen.
Okay.
But there never was a story. I thought he was a little bit too preachy. You know, this is the way you should live your life. And so I did not read it.
Did you expect to like it going into it?
I did actually, because I read another one very similar called Make Your Bed. Have you anybody heard that? By Admiral McRaven, Admiral William McRaven. And he did a graduation speech, and he also was a Navy SEAL, and he was a fabulous speaker. And then he wrote a book about his speech, and it's called Make Your Bed, because he believes that if you
All right, I'm trying to get
make your bed every day, you will at least accomplish one goal in your life, to make your bed. So and then he just talked about it. So this one I just could not get into this at all. Did anybody else feel the same way?
I thought, I'm surprised, because I thought I would not like it, because I am not a military person, but I actually liked the book.
Oh,
I thought it was inspirational, and I liked a lot of the things that he had to say. And, you know, living here, we're around the Navy SEAls, and I don't really understand what they go through. And it kind of made me understand that all a little bit better. So I found it beneficial.
Okay. Karen, did you read it?
I did read it, and I thought it was very good. I can understand where you could say, I understand where you said that it was preachy. I do understand that, but I did like the way he talked about leadership, and I actually am thinking I need to give it to my son and say, read this, just because he had a lot of knowledge, you know, in that field. You know, so I thought it was good, but I do agree that I was thinking it was going to be more of a story, and he did have different snippets of stories of his time over in Afghanistan, and I am just amazed at what they can do.
I agree.
Yeah,
he's had an exciting life, that's for sure.
That's for sure. That is. How about Mary? Did she read it?
Oh, I did. And I have two nephews that were lifetime Navy, and my niece-in-law's father was an admiral in the Navy. So I wanted to read it because I was looking for an explanation of the training the Navy SEALs go through, as well as you know, I was looking for more of a story, and the snippets of the story and a little bit disjointed, I didn't care for. I thought it was a very elongated motivational speaker. And although I wanted to take notes I really valued some of the things he said about, you know, his 3 words about agility and training and whatever. I forget I thought, well, they're good things to think about, and the decision-making process. I was fascinated by it, especially when they were, you know, within a tenth of a second of shooting that guy. And I liked the whole decision-making. You have to balance right on the spur of the moment. And I think that's what our police, I don't think they have nearly the Navy SEAL training, but they are put into those situations perhaps routinely. So I was glad I had read it, and but I did skim a lot, and I did think he was very proud of his accomplishments and very willing to share his expertise. I'm just used to a little bit more humility and a little bit of, you know, we all did this as a team approach.
I think he even mentions how important humility is, and it's funny coming from him, because I agree. It seemed like he's got a healthy self-image.
No, I will say that he was very interested when he talked about the anybody should be able to give ideas of how a project is being done with backup. I mean, he wasn't he shouldn't be the only one making the decisions. You know what I mean? He wanted everybody to say something.
And feel free to contribute and feel valued for their contribution.
Yes.
I was trying to take that to heart, as Elaine and Karen would know, with some of my events with the food pantry.
Well, my kitty cat is finding this a very good discussion. You see her on my lap.
I thought it was good the way he talked about when he worked at the White House and he went into a strategic planning meeting and he went in with purposely and said he was not the smartest person in the world and he was open to everybody else's idea and acknowledge that we all should, when we go to a meeting, know that everyone has an opinion and everyone has something to contribute. And I thought that was very well put. That's like page 86, 87, and 88.
Okay.
I marked it. I think that was my favorite section when he talked about that. But what I did not like the way it ended so quickly. And he brought in the story about his daughter and the baby and about his wife. It was like he wrote it and then all of a sudden he thought he should mention them.
Oh, I better.
And he did right at the end. And all along he just talked about a family back home, which they all have a family back home, whether it's their mother, their father, their wife, their children. But I thought that was a little, I find that about a lot of books. It's like the editors come in and want the book chopped off and there's more to read, but it has to end somewhere. So this is what they do. But that was what I really liked about it. And that's the only part I really didn't like. Karen, did Dwayne read the book?
No, he did not. And I asked him if he knew him. And he said, no, I am going to ask Chris.
Yeah, this guy's younger. He's like in between. He's only like 52, I think. It says when Erie graduated from the academy.
Did he train down here? Could you?
Yes, he's part of the Virginia Beach SEAL team.
Oh gosh, okay.
I never knew that. I learned that too. I've learned that that's where all these dudes go. They go, you think they go to Harvey Point or Elizabeth City, but they go to Virginia Beach.
The beach.
Or out to San Diego.
And San Diego for that special buds training or something.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was interesting. Gosh, your cat's beautiful, Jennifer.
Oh,
that's the one from over here.
It is.
She's
She's your neighborhood.
Hi.
She is the best cat.
There's someone else. There we go.
Hi, Kathleen. Did you read the book?
No, I didn't. Can you hear me? I'm still struggling.
No,
Okay.
we see you. We hear you.
Yes.
Welcome.
And I see you have a cat tree.
There should be a cat on it. There was.
Well, mine is on my lap. Did you read the book, Kathleen?
Yes. This is the first time I've ever been on this new computer. I'm struggling.
Oh, you succeeded here, so that's good job.
You're doing well.
You're good, Kathleen.
You're doing well.
Thank you.
I thought it was quite interesting he did talk a little bit about the training that they had. And I just can't imagine myself or other women doing this, being able to do this. I mean, you're carrying 70. I know for my son, he was carrying 75 pounds. I couldn't even lift it.
But are there any women Navy SEALs?
Yes.
There are?
I think there
are.
I think there's two. I think there's two.
I think it's new.
I didn't realize there were so many Navy SEALs. I thought it was a really close, small group, but it sounds like there's hundreds, thousands of them. Is that the impression you all got?
Well, they have to be. He had over in, I think he said something about that there were 4 groups of people, you know, a second, the 4th, and the 6th and 10th or something like that. And they must have X amount in each one of those groups. But when he said, and I know you read this, is that only like 19 made it out of 100 or
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
I mean, it is,
Yeah.
Yeah, that came out in that other book too. Yeah. And Karen, aren't they enlisted? They're enlisted, aren't they? The Navy SEALs or
a lot of them are, I'm pretty sure that they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they have to have, officers somewhere, but I just don't know how that works. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
According to the computer, there's around 2,500 SEALs on active duty.
Okay.
So
See, so there are quite a bit. I never imagined there were so many.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't either.
Well, I feel safe with knowing what they go through and what they give up and the sacrifices they make.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for it now. More
Mhm.
respect.
Michelle, this is a non-published, this book has not been published yet, or what did you say it was? A non-published?
It's not published yet. These are advanced reader copies. It's expected to be published in February of this year. Well, no, actually I lied. It is 2022. So it was published February 2021. I lied about that. I didn't mean to.
Okay.
I saw him on television. I think it was the PBS NewsHour he was interviewed.
Interesting.
Was he interesting?
He was it was just like kind of just like the way the book is.
Oh.
Because I found it interesting. And when Michelle brought the book up, I thought, oh, that's the man I saw interviewed. Because lots of times they interview people and I have no idea who they are.
Right.
And then, they say they wrote a book, but you figure I'll never read that. But I did.
Well,
I'm glad I did. I'm very proud of myself for reading it.
Michelle, how did you get so many copies? How did the library?
This is from Celadon, which is a publisher, and they have started like a book club group. So if we come up with questions, we can submit them, and they will choose from the different book clubs that they've sent these to, and include them in their discussion question selection. Sometimes they have a sheet to go along with the books, and credit your book club. So we got this one, and we also got the Never Enough, that our evening book club, which, if I'm not mistaken, I have another copy of that if anybody would like to read that one. Never Enough by Doris Hazard Cordell, which was also pretty interesting. So
But there's two books with those.
No, that was her honor. No, that was her honor.
Yeah.
her honor.
Her
Yes,
honor.
her honor.
Yeah.
Her
Different
honor.
title.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah, did I say Never Enough? Sorry about that. I was holding the book and reading it. So yes, her honor was the evening book club. So they sent us two selections, and so hopefully I will submit some of our questions and maybe get our name in some of the documentation for their future book club summary and discussion questions. So that was very generous of them. So every time I see a chance, especially if it's something I think that our book club will like, I throw my name in the ring, because you never know. We might get lucky and get some copies like this.
mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so good of you. Thank you.
One of the blogs that I follow came up with 3 questions that they think are worthy of asking of any book that you read. And of course, I had to go back and try to remember what they were. But the first one was, what was the author's purpose in writing the book? Because so often we get tied up in our own opinions of it. So they said, well, you ought to start with what was the author's purpose, and then how or did he achieve that? And then third, was it worth it? Was it worth reading? So to me, where my question would have been, why didn't he tell more about his family and his history leading him into this line of work, or more of the transfer of how these skills benefited him in his variety of other careers? I had to get back to, no, but what was his purpose for writing? And I had to think, well, his purpose for writing was, just to be a motivational speaker, make a name for himself. So, I got a little bit, down on him going back and trying to figure out his purpose for writing.
I
Yeah.
think he did it to kind of bring honor to the profession.
Okay.
Okay,
To
good.
it. I think he.
I would have responded well to that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like I say, for someone that would, it's just not a subject I'm interested in, but I found that it was fascinating.
Yeah.
So when, I mean, I think that's a good thing, that here's a very military guy, a White House worker, someone obviously very smart. He did talk about the background of being taught by the Jesuit priest at Holy Cross. That really influenced him. And if you remember, he talked about how his grandfather was a great influence, because wasn't his grandfather at Pearl Harbor?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of his motivation. It sounded like he was predestined to be a military guy.
Mm-hmm. I looked at it as kind of a,
Good. Well,
a
I
leadership
much
guy.
prefer that. Yes.
Pardon me? But who am I?
Good points, Bruce.
Michelle, were you going to say something?
I saw it as like a leadership, like Maxwell, John Maxwell, and there are some others. I looked at it as kind of a leadership, I won't say a guide, but a book, to inspire you to be a better leader and things like that. So in that way, he had some good points. He did point out how wonderful he was at all these points. But the training that he said, those were the most interesting parts, the training for SEALs and some of his adventures, we'll call them adventures. Those were the most interesting parts to me. So I wish there were more of that. I think as a biography, that would have been, for me, a more interesting book.
So Michelle, you might have liked that Make Your Bed, because he does talk a lot about his training, how out of San
that would be
Diego,
good.
how hard it is.
I wrote that title down so I can look for it.
And if anybody else wants to follow up with that one too, it's short, but it was very moving.
Oh, good.
Is it a relatively new book, Jennifer?
Yes, it is. Yes. Admiral William H. McRaven. And then you can also go on YouTube and listen to his speech.
Oh, that'd be good.
It was a graduation speech. That was a graduation, college graduation he spoke at. But what they go through is they almost drowned. Did that come out in this book?
Yeah.
What they go through.
Yes.
He parachuted out of the plane and his parachute failed to open. He broke his pelvis. It just was awful what they go through.
Yeah.
Training.
Yeah.
And that's training. Think of what they go through on the battlefield.
Right. Yes.
I don't know. How about that one where the guy didn't say anything because they were training, but he didn't say anything and had an alligator on his knee.
Yes.
And an alligator had chopped into his knee and he didn't say anything because he had to be quiet. I was like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have been that.
He did talk about the time they were in the ocean in the night and they did almost drown. That was, I can't remember if that was, I think that was when he was young, like in his 20s. And he
was training. Okay.
He was training, but that could be like an incident when they almost drowned.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say I have a lot more respect for those young chaps at the swimming pool now.
Oh boy.
Which you really don't see them very much. You see the wives and the children, but they're always away. And when they come, they kind of keep to themselves.
Yes, they do.
Observed.
Yeah, even the wife and children, don't they? They keep to themselves.
They will, unless you gauge them. It depends. Some of them have been very, very friendly and open. We just lost a family. I mean, not lost as in death, but they went overseas. They were living in Liz Alter's old house.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember her name. I have such
They can only
bad.
be here, I think they're only here 3 years, right, before they move
Oh,
on.
wow.
Gone.
Mhm.
How about what he wanted to do with one of the reasons he wrote the book was to help out gold families, people that have lost their
Yes.
loved ones, and
Well,
he
that's-
wants to make money for them.
Is that he's donating all the proceeds to Gold Star
Yes.
families?
250,000 of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
Well,
wants
that's
to go to gold
admirable.
families.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
That's good, yeah.
yeah, no, it is. It is. Anything to help them.
Right.
Michelle, do you want the books back?
No, you are welcome to keep them, to share them, whatever you like to do with those.
Maybe
Okay.
he'll come close by and he could sign them for us.
That would be fun.
Ooh,
I don't, where is he now?
Yeah.
I think, Westport, Connecticut.
Mm.
Oh,
He
don't
works
think
for
he's coming
corporate
back.
America, it sounds like, in Manhattan, I'm assuming.
Oh,
That one company, he would mention name. Now, the only thing that I was disappointed is he would mention these companies and you didn't know whether they were defense contractors or what kind of big business it was. And he would talk about his experiences and how he didn't know anything about the business of the company itself, but with his training, he could go in and set up teams and motivate people. And I found that interesting also.
Mhm.
Because you see these military men go, like they get appointed by the presidents, have a position, and they often don't do a very good job. But it's amazing how being in the military at a top level leads to these fabulous jobs.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
But he seemed like someone who would benefit the country.
Right.
I think he has. He
Yeah.
worked with what, Obama and somebody else.
Bush.
Bushes.
Bushes,
Right.
yeah.
yep.
He spoke very highly of George Bush, the 43. I thought that was
Mhm.
nice too.
Oh,
And Obama. He was very
And Obama.
respectful.
Mhm.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes.
mm.
Does anybody else have anything they want to add or have any thoughts about the book or?
I'll try to read it when it comes out.
Well, I have a copy of it. If you ever want to borrow it, it's in my office on my desk. You're welcome to it. Our next
Right.
book is going to be The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict. I know we read another book by her, but she's really so awesome. I'm excited.
Mhm.
I got 10 minutes. This is working out perfect. So that is our next book for February. And we need to kind of decide how we want to go about choosing our books for the rest of the year. Now,
what did you do with that list that we sent you back? Did you?
I still have it. So,
Yep. We've compiled a bunch of lists,
yes.
but we need to get together and discuss them.
Yes.
And who's we? Like, what do you mean? You all do it, or who does that?
Well, last year we had like a little committee, whoever wanted to be on the committee was included, but we got together and Mary had some really great titles and also
Criteria.
criteria is the
Categories.
excellent word I'm looking for.
Oh, that's right. You did have categories. I remember, Mary. Yeah.
And it gave
Categories.
us such a nice,
So
diverse
we have a
group of
variety.
books.
It really did.
Yeah. So that worked out really great. So we weren't
And then
all
we
just reading
voted on.
turn.
And then we voted on them and picked the top one.
Yes. Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
That worked.
So we want to try that again for this year? I really did enjoy the
I like that.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
okay.
I do
Did-
too.
Did you, Mary, was it mysteries and then?
Oh goodness, there were so many.
I mean, yeah, nonfiction, mystery, mystery
Historical.
suspense, historical novel,
Fiction,
Yeah.
science
week.
fiction was a possibility, biography, autobiography, poetry, drama.
Whoa.
And then
Okay.
basically we looked at them and we started talking about titles, and then we started saying, oh, well, that would fit into this category and this category.
Mhm.
So we ended up covering, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 different
I think I
categories
remember,
by the
yeah.
books that people came.
Okay.
It was fun. I had
It
just
was.
an easel up and we just kept scratching on the easel.
That's right. I remember.
So hopefully we can do that. And I would say at the end of February, Michelle, whenever the library opens up again, that we're allowed to have a group meeting, we should do it.
Okay.
But the personal librarian is great. I just
Yeah,
finished
that's
it
a very good
2
one,
nights
yeah.
ago. It's really, really good.
Does the
Mhm.
library have copies of that, Michelle?
We have 2 copies, and I know that I've requested at least one to be sent to our library. I think both of them, but we didn't get any deliveries today. Hopefully tomorrow, and I'm hoping that at least one of them show up tomorrow. So if you're interested, I can put you on the hold list, and when it does come in, I can start making phone calls and let you know when it's here.
That would be great.
Would you like me
And
to put-
Is the
Rebecca
library
Corona, my
open?
neighbor,
The library is open. We just aren't doing in-person programming.
Okay.
But yes, we are open our regular hours. So
Oh,
come
okay.
visit us.
Mhm.
I'm not sure about February because Jim has to have surgery, and right now the hospital OR is closed for 2 weeks.
Oh,
That's going to
So-
continue probably.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something
And
to
I'm
read
gonna
in
be
between,
away.
You have something to
yes.
recommend, Jennifer?
what do you
oh
got, Jennifer?
yes, do I? Of course, of course.
Good.
I cannot stop.
Get my
myself.
pen and paper.
So I just finished the Lincoln Highway by
What would
the
you
author
think?
that Amor Towles that wrote The Gentleman from Moscow.
Mhm.
The Lincoln Highway, which
Yes.
is very, very different. And the Lincoln Highway is the highway that goes across the United States. I don't think it's Route 66 actually. Set in the early 50s, that one. But actually they don't spend very much time on the Lincoln Highway in this book, even though it's called that.
Okay.
So that's a good one. And then I also just read a nonfiction, The Churchill Sisters, about Winston Churchill's daughters.
Oh,
That was
thinking-
very
that does sound
interesting.
interesting.
Those, you know,
I was thinking
how-
about that one too. That looks
how
good.
they lived under such a famous father, how hard it was for them, their father being
Oh.
so famous. So the poor brother had no hope at all. He was just hopeless, alcoholic. But this is just about the sisters.
Did they grow up in that castle or estate that the Churchill family has? in
Well,
England?
yes,
Mhm.
the youngest one did.
Mhm.
And they all helped during the war too. They all helped
Mhm.
quite a bit. And he was very dependent on them. He wanted them by his side. If his wife Clementine wasn't there, which is another book, Lady Clementine, by Marie Benedict.
I
who
read
wrote-
that. Yes.
You read that
I
one?
read that.
Okay. That's a good one
Yes.
to read about her too. Because she really, she put him before her children. And that was part of the problem with the girls because and maybe that was the time, the Edwardian time too.
Well,
that
that's
they didn't-
also the royal way. I mean, they are
yes,
of the
that's
royal
true.
family. Mhm.
Mhm. So those are just a couple to get you going right now. If you need something in between times.
You got anything lighter to suggest?
Sure, okay. Like,
That we have in the library here?
yeah, the Kitchen House was up there, Ruth. Somebody must have done that.
I read
recently.
that.
I
Yeah.
know you did. Yeah, that somebody must have done that.
I wish
recently
she
in the
would
book.
write the third novel. I haven't. Did you ever look that up if she wrote the third one yet?
No, I don't know. Michelle, do you have the computer there?
check.
The woman
Yes.
that wrote the Kitchen House.
that
Catherine
good?
Kathleen Grissom, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. Something like. There was a.
Nope, she's
I,
just
I
got
don't
the
know if
two.
Michelle, if you have this in your system. The funny thing about Norman, this 12-year-old boy that was trying to be a comedian, that was hilarious. Oh, but there was one by Abby Waxman that I was just laughing out loud. Oh gosh, I don't want to lose the screen to look it up, but it's Abby Waxman, Michelle, if you.
I don't have funny thing about Norman. I don't have anything by Abby Waxman, but let me get that
Title.
It's ABBI, so a little bit different spelling.
The Bookish Life of Nina Hill.
Well,
Was it the Bookish Life of Nina Hill?
that's the first one, which was good. And then she wrote another one. Is there another one coming up?
Adult assembly required.
Let's see.
That's an interesting title.
Yeah.
Karen, are you working on a sweater?
I'm working on felt. I'm
Looks like
working on
needlepoint.
felt nachos. For
Oh.
my granddaughter.
I was told it would get better. She also wrote, I was told it would get better. That came out in 2020. Huh, that was
That might be it.
appropriate.
I
Yeah.
can look at my notes and see. I
I was told it would get better.
get better.
By
Let me just
Abby
go-
Waxman.
Let me just see my notes here real quick. Was just laugh out loud funny.
And we have 2 minutes.
Sounds
before
like a good
Zoom.
one.
Mary, do you have one? A book?
No, no. I just started Lincoln Highway last night.
Oh, you did?
good.
Okay. That would make a very excellent book discussion. Because I had different feelings
Somebody-
about that book.
Someone recommended Sally Rooney, the author, and is it Ordinary People? Something
Oh, yeah,
People.
she's good. She's good.
Is that the
Oh, I have that one out of our
Yes.
library.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the one by
I
Abby
got that from
Waxman.
our library. Yes.
Okay, it's
Okay.
called The Garden of Small Beginnings. The Garden of Small Beginnings.
Okay.
By
Set in California, and it's about a very funny, I wrote, and a widow and a sister that go to a gardening class. So if you like gardening, you'll like it.
the Garden of Small Beginnings.
Small Beginnings. Abby
And it's by
Waxman.
that Abby.
Yeah, ABBI. It's a little
And
bit
what's the
different.
last name?
Waxman, Waxman.
Okay. Thank
You
you.
have less than a minute, so it might cut us
Oh.
off. If I don't, I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah,
Hopefully we
Happy
can
New
get back
Year.
to normal, and I will be sending out
Yes.
emails.
Thank you,
Okay.
Michelle.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
Thank
Michelle.
you. It was fun talking.
Bye.
It's good
Bye,
to see
everyone.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Love-
Nice to
How do you
see
get off of this? Does it just stop? Does it stop on its own?
Yes.
Okay.